right, so we are here outside of Kevin De Leon's house where your Black Lives Matter Los Angeles has set up basically a 24/7 encampment in protest of his racist remarks, his gerrymandering black voters to disenfranchise them, and he hasn't resigned yet. So this is pressure to get him to resign. What's the plan?
The plan is just to be here and to disrupt and to make him uncomfortable. You know, wherever he is, he can't sleep in his own bed at his own house. And if he comes back, we are going to make noise. We're going to keep him up. We're going to make sure that his stay, as long as he wants to stay in that seat, is going to be uncomfortable because we are uncomfortable, right? We are uncomfortable with his actions. We are uncomfortable with his decision-making policies. We're comfortable with how he came to these policies and what these policies have done. So we're going to make him uncomfortable.
Indeed. Looks like you're getting a lot of support from the neighbors. I know one of the neighbors sent some pizzas over. So I think the general sense out there is folks want Kevin to resign. They're not okay with what he did. Why do you think he's not resigning?
You know, I've heard so many different things. I've heard that it's arrogance. I've heard that it's to protect his pension. I've heard, you know, and ultimately only Kevin knows why, right? Only Kevin knows why. And to be honest, it speaks to his moral character that whatever is holding him back doesn't make sense, right? Your constituents don't want you here. The people, your own neighbors don't want you here. Black folks in Los Angeles don't want you here. Latinx folks don't want you here. Indigenous folks don't want you here. Asian folks don't want you here. The list goes on. And it is time for you to resign.
Yeah. I think, interestingly, there was a protest in front of City Hall that very first Tuesday when they went back to session, and he was booed out of the chambers and has kind of been in hiding ever since. I think his career is over. I don't think he can come back from the things he said and did. So it'll be interesting to see what happens next. So you guys have some tents out here. I'm guessing more people are coming in. And you're just going to be here 24/7?
We're just going to be here 24/7. We have people coming in shifts. We have, as you can see, we have way more enough supplies to last us maybe a couple more days than so we're here for as long as we can be here. And I mean, we're here until he leaves. We're here until he decides that he doesn't want this anymore. And we're not going to give up because it takes this kind of pressure to get rid of someone who has done what he has done.
Hang on.
I love this.
Gina, so you're out here in front of Kevin De Leon's house. They are setting up an encampment that's going to go 24/7 until he resigns.
That's right.
I don't think there's any coming back from what happened. Why do you think Kevin isn't resigning?
Because he's cutting deals. He's still cutting deals. He's in rooms with people making deals. So that's what the remaining credible city council members, I only count 2 of those at this point. In my mind, we only have 2 city council members worth their weight in anything that need to be digging into this, because who is he doing backroom deals with? It's true. The jig is up. It's over. There's no coming back from this. You know, it's outrageous that I even had to run against him for mayor. You know, CD14, when he was running for that seat, every single forum, CD14 said to every candidate, do not run for another position. Our district needs a full-time council member. You know, I didn't hear him say he wouldn't, although I'm told he did at more than one forum agree not to run for something. He started running for mayor the minute he became a council member. This is despicable. CD14 stretches from Skid Row, El Sereno, up here in Eagle Rock. Like that, this district needs a full-time council member, and that is not what they've gotten with Kevin De Leon. So, and he's poisoned the entire city.
Yeah, the gerrymandering revelations I thought were quite shocking, because this has a longer lasting effect even than the racist
That's exactly right.
dialect.
He's the one who said, put Nithia's district in a blender.
Yeah.
So to me, I don't even understand why we're having this conversation, right? We could remove Mark Ridley Thomas for something he did while he was on the Board of Supervisors, yet this man gerrymandered our city's redistricting, put Nithia's district in a blender, and he still gets to get paid by us as a city council member? No, no, no. This is despicable. Black Lives Matter is out here to shine light on the anti-blackness that has been so impervious in this city, and frankly, he is at the head of that. I tried to get him to join us for the People's Budget. Long before I was a candidate for mayor, I was part of the People's Budget Coalition, and one of the things we did was we reached out to every sitting city council member, and Kevin De León was on my list. And I approached him many times, and every time, you know what he said? Black Lives Matter doesn't do anything for Latinos. That's what he said. That's what he told me.
Wow.
So more than once.
Really?
So, yes,
Wow, that's
yes,
shocking,
this
actually.
man's anti-blackness is poisoning the well, the entire well. But again, I don't want to see people like Mitch O'Farrell skate away with this like they're heroes. They are not, right? As again, we only have 2 city council members that are not complicit in this.
Yeah.
And how I
Nithya
measure
Rahman
that?
and Mike Bonin, I'm guessing that. Okay.
And the way I measure that is because those 2 council members have not put forth any 4118 addresses.
Right.
Okay. Mike Bonin does use cops for his sweeps, so I actually, he's not, Nithya's my favorite, and happens to be my council member, and I worked very hard to, help get her elected. So to have, and I sat through the redistricting meetings. It was during pandemic, and my work went away completely, so it gave me the time to sit through all the redistricting meetings. And I swear we would hang up the Zoom, and I would say to my husband, there are other meetings happening. Something is wrong. These maps that they keep bringing at the beginning of the meetings are not the ones that we ended with. Something is wrong.
They were clearly trying to disenfranchise black voters.
That's right.
Really painfully
That's right.
obvious.
They were limiting black power. They were limiting renter power.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody was safe on those tapes, right? Like, I mean, basically they made it very clear that they only had one goal, but
Gina, let me ask you this. For a time, Kevin De León was actually embraced by the progressives in the city and the state. A lot of the Bernie Sanders supporters thought that he was progressive. Obviously, that's not the case.
No way. I almost beat him in the mayoral race.
You did.
He ran for the citywide seat and I got as many votes as he did. And nobody knows who I am.
Right. He seems to me to be just a politician looking for power, which is, he's not really moored to anything. I think he will pick up whatever area seems ripe for the picking as far as voters are concerned, which is why he probably, kind of sort of latched on to that movement. And I think that's obvious by the way he keeps running for office when he's in another position. He doesn't seem committed to his constituents.
He doesn't. And again, like I said, you run for a district like CD14, you need to be that council member for CD14. And that was the pledge he made to these residents. And I can tell you, I've worked with the reclaimers in El Sereno, I've been all over his district. People do not feel like he's done anything for them in the 2 years he's been here. And I even heard him say more than once, I just got back, I have to get a feel for what's going on in my district. And I thought, well, then what the hell were you doing up in Sacramento? Because you were representing the same people. So, I don't know what happens to our local LA organizers that become politicians, but they go to Sacramento and they do not come home the same. Gil and Kevin De León, Gil Cedillo and Kevin De León are perfect examples of this. Just the fact that those 2 would call each other senator during our city council meetings is so disrespectful. You're not senators anymore. You're representing this city. Be here. Be a council member. I don't know what more I can say, but BLM is not going to go anywhere until he resigns. Because believe me, if I know one group with fortitude, it is BLM Los Angeles. If they say we're going to be here till he's gone, he needs to go.